My name is Tina Hilding. I live at 411 North Howard, and I wasn't going to speak, but here I am. I guess I would say
Well, we're glad you're speaking.
this is a wonderful public process that perhaps should have been done last spring before the decision was made to go forward with the bridge. So I would say that, like Mark said, the cart before the horse should have been done last spring. And the second thing, I'm a big avid bike rider who uses 3rd Street often when I'm able. And I'm also a taxpayer who works at WSU and lives in Moscow, unfortunately. And the other thing I was going to say about the importance of minimizing, or someone mentioned, this to me was a very, it made a lot of sense. We want to minimize, try to figure out a way to encourage more pedestrians and biking. And someone mentioned that it was like when you're trying to lose weight. You're trying to lose weight, you don't do it by continually putting on a bigger belt. That's, and by putting in, more traffic opportunities for cars, it's like putting on a bigger belt. It's not addressing the issue, so I'm not sure I got all that straight.
Thank you, Tina.
Garrett Thompson, let's see, 1010 Pinecrest Road, just outside of Moscow. First off, I really would like to thank the city staff and Les for all your time, and the subcommittee that was put together, and Council Member Bonzo for being on that. What I can say is, unfortunately, this whole issue has been a very controversial one. I don't like controversy. We all live in Moscow because we have many different reasons of why it's special to us. I went halfway around the world to go to school and then came back and, called my parents and said, I want to come home to Moscow, Idaho, which I promised I would never do when I left. So I was completely wrong on that one. What I can say is I am supportive of the bridge. I am supportive of Plan C. I want us to all work together and see this through. People fighting, it doesn't make Moscow any better of a place. It makes it a worse place. People see us from the outside. I just want us to get through this, get it done. And then the only other comment that I have to say is I reiterate a few other people's comments. I really hope that Plan D does not gain any more traction here tonight. When I looked at the plans, I just was aware of A, B, and C. And so other than that, I thank you all for your help and your time. And yes, that's it.
Thank you, Garrett.
Joanne Manita, 203 South Howard. I'm glad so many people have pointed out that Plan D was not vetted. Maybe there were a few people who said something about something at the Transportation Commission. I was sitting there listening. I didn't hear anything that would have led to Plan D. And I watched the video that Tom Hansen had. I still didn't see where it came from. The problem is not only was it not vetted, it's not only is it not traffic calming, it's traffic encouraging. We see right here If you take the cars off the street and paint lines, it makes it look like the lane is wider, and it will encourage more traffic and higher speeds. And that's what's happened in front of the high school. The city has documented this, they studied it, and cars are driving at 30 miles an hour. They're not slowing down to 15 because it looks so nice and wide and comfortable. If there were a lot of bikes going back and forth, maybe, but the bicyclists are on the sidewalk, and when you have more cars, you're going to have fewer bicyclists. Only the brave few will be out in the street. And I just want to say about the comment about having a consultant. I think it's a great idea. Let's not phrase it to ask the consultant, tell us if this is safe or not. Let's phrase it, tell us how to make this work for our population and maintain safety. Otherwise, you're going to get a, yes or no answer. We want to solve problems here. And I know that's what you're all here for. So I would encourage Plan C with a consultant to show us how to do it right. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. One quick comment that I'll make, because I was at that Transportation Commission meeting that was on the 25th, and Joanne, like you, I didn't really hear the Plan D, but what I did hear was that none of these plans are perfect, and each one of them has some flaws. I did hear that too, and I think that's where some of these other things came out. I'm guessing. That's just a guess. I sat back in the audience and just listened. Joanne, I'm just right about where you're sitting right now. And so I'm guessing that's maybe where it came from. I don't know, Les, but that's what I think. Anyway, I'm ready for the next person who wants to get up and speak. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Okay, well, I'm going to close the public comment and we will move on, folks.
Go on.
Mike, did you want to speak?
No, I really wasn't going to.
Well, come on up here. All right.
And I don't have too much to say. I feel like so much has been said and said well. And I also don't want to just take the time to thank everybody, but I truly do feel like there's a lot of things to go around. I was impressed with the process that happened. I do think there's a lesson to be learned about the order of these things, and hopefully in the future that can be addressed. But I think given the situation, it was done the best it could be done. I enjoyed getting to know Les McDonald and getting to know the other members of the committee. I also enjoyed getting to know people in the community. Everywhere I went, I seemed to attract conversation, whether it was at the grocery store or wherever. And I don't know how many times I had to kind of go over the same things. Les must be getting exhausted of, I'm feeling a bit exhausted, but I have enjoyed those conversations. One example is Joanne. I'm really impressed with all of the great comments that she makes. She sends me emails frequently with really insightful ideas, and I truly enjoy them. They've been great, and I think this was a good point that she made here, Les, that I think that in talking to a consultant, there's a lot that can be said about how it's asked, what they're asked to do. And if we can turn to them to help us make something work, I think that's a good approach. So that's my comment. I think, and Mike Lowry at 123 South Monroe.
Thank you, Mike. And thank you for the work that you did on that as well, the subcommittee.